What up? This is Lisa Paris of rawbeats.com, and this is episode 16 of Pillow Talk. Today I wanted to talk about labels, speaking specifically to labeling yourself with your diet, like labeling yourself a vegan or a vegetarian or even a raw vegan, and how that, while it can be good and easy to do, to answer people's questions about what you're all about, can get a little sticky. So to start, it's really easy to label ourselves when it comes to our diet, because if someone offers you something that you don't eat, it's pretty easy and natural to say, oh, no, thank you, I'm vegan, I don't eat that. Or, no, thank you, I'm a vegetarian, I'll pass on the ribeye. Um, so that's, a reason that we will label ourselves, and it makes sense. But I don't know about you. For me, I'm all about my freedom. I'm all about being free and doing what I want. And I find that the whole labeling thing kind of can be something that that can be kind of binding, or that labeling yourself can kind of create a box that you are put into, that you have to conform to. And so I have issues with that. And I think a lot of other people do too, because intrinsically we all want to be free and we want to do our own thing, do what we want to do. We don't want to have to conform. And so there's a little bit of a backlash there. And I'll just say that with the raw vegan thing, I've experienced that backlash a little bit, mostly because I love the raw food movement, and so in an effort to explain my diet, I call myself a raw foodist or a raw vegan, but that usually spawns the question of the dreaded question, which is so hard to answer, of are you 100% raw? And that's a really sticky question, because when you do the raw food thing for, a while, when it's been a couple years, you realize that depending on how technical you get with what's raw and what isn't, it can be a little bit stressful, because it can be really technical. To be 100% raw is like being perfect all of the time. And I don't believe in perfection. I don't believe there is anything as being perfect. And over a year ago, I started realizing, like, this whole being a perfect raw foodie is stressing me out. And the reason I'm doing raw foods, the reason I'm, conscious about what I put into my body, is to feel good and to thrive. And the stress is kind of in opposition of that thriving. So I had to rethink things. And, maybe this is me coming out of the raw food closet, but sometimes I'm 100% raw for months and months, and it's effortless, and that's what I'm feeling, and I go with it. And sometimes, dare I say it, not entirely. I'm not going to lie to you. And I know that right there, that is getting a reaction. I get a reaction from people, because automatically, our egos, the little defiant child in our heads, is like, I knew it. She's a phony. Oh, I knew it. She eats Big Macs. She hides in closets and eats chicken nuggets, And that's so not what I'm saying at all. But with the raw food thing, I don't stress out about being perfectly raw all the time, and I sporadically will eat cooked food. But the cooked food that I eat is like steamed vegetables. It's nothing crazy. It's totally pure. I don't really eat tofu or anything like that anymore. It's just, like steamed veggies. So I don't know if that freaks you out. I know some of my raw foodie peeps are like, she's not 100% raw, oh no. But don't fret, this life is about choices. It's about freedom. And I think labeling ourselves and putting ourselves into a box is no good, And it's all about just doing what you feel and what makes you feel really good. And I can't tell you what that is for you. The only person who can figure that out is you. So, seek out optimal health for yourself. And don't worry about the labels. If you want to label yourself something to make it easier for family and friends to understand why you're not eating something, then by all means go for that. But yeah, don't stress out about it. This life is about fun and happiness and peace. So help yourself attain that peace, and don't, berate yourself or belittle yourself. And it's interesting. I have a friend, a really good friend, who said something really poignant the other day. He was talking about how he's, somewhat of a vegetarian, hasn't really been eating meat very much anymore, but that he didn't really want to label himself a vegetarian. And I thought that was really brilliant because, why would you want to label yourself? That's just kind of, tying yourself to something, putting an obligation on yourself. Once you say you're something, it's like you have to be it for other people. So I just, it's like I don't really know in terms of me and what I do, communicating that to all of you. I'm all about raw food. I eat tons of raw veggies. I don't know, the whole percentage question is kind of irritating to me. People will be like, what percentage are you? And I think that's so, besides the fact that it's totally subjective and not possible to, really pinpoint, it's just kind of dorky. Oh, I'm 80% raw, it's like, who cares? I don't know. I guess this video doesn't have any answers, but I think that some of the most important questions in life are questions that have no answers, and we try to answer them because we need this, finality. But I think just letting go of that and just accepting, if you can accept that there's no answers to these questions, then that's the way to find peace, So keep yourself free. Think for yourself and love yourself. Love the food that you put into your body. If it's cooked or not, it's all good. And don't forget to eat your beets if that's something you're into. No pressure. And check out rawbeets.com. Later.